Before traveling to Bali, I was restless. I wanted adventure, excitement, and a better understanding of what I was doing in my day-to-day life and my goals for the future. My mindset was consumed with myself. All I've known is how I felt and what I wanted. This stems from being an only child with a single parent. It was all I ever really needed to know. My mom, however, comes from a very large family. I am lucky that I get to see them quite often. They are extremely supportive of all my decisions and continually give me advice when I am needing guidance as I grow into an adult. Since I am the oldest grandchild and spend so much time with my aunts and uncles and cousins, I am seen as a role model for my younger cousins. I am glad that I was able to experience Bali so that I can share my knowledge with them and encourage them to travel with a study abroad when they're older. My experience in Bali really helped me to understand my core values. During the purification ceremony, we had to pray to the gods and purify ourselves under 11 different fountains. But the prayer could not be for material items. In this moment, I realized what I really wanted from life. My prayer for the 11 fountains were the same. I pray for an open mind, a loving heart, and to better understand the world and my part in it. I believe my prayer exemplifies my core values of open-mindedness, fulfillment, and integrity. Understanding myself in this space was necessary to set myself up for understanding Bali's beautiful culture and really connecting with the people there, as well as my group. One of the most worth noting transitions was my transition into my homestay family. This was something I had never experienced before. I had never had to deal with language barriers or living with strangers. But to my surprise, with a little effort, the difference of languages made no difference, and these strangers quickly became my family. Right away, I was welcomed by my bapak. He told me as we drove up the driveway that this was my home now. Whenever I came to Bali, this home would always be here for me. As I mentioned before, I'm an only child, and my mom is a single parent. So it was a huge transition to go from being an only child to becoming an older sister to my 10-year-old brother, Grit. We bonded over checkers, paper airplanes, origami, and even bintang. I also switched parental figures in Bali. I had a single father, Bapak Mardana. He was our program driver, so it was great being able to see him every day. It was also cool that my friends got to become good friends with him too. The most shocking thing for me was the amount of hospitality and love my family showed me. They were always making sure I was fed, full, healthy, and happy in their home. They were always checking in on me, asking, "Sudah mandi, sudah makan, kamu capek, apa kabar?" They were always willing to sit by me, even though we couldn't converse much more beyond those questions. My babak helped me study for my Bahasa test by only allowing me to talk in Bahasa for the whole night, or by quizzing me in my numbers and days of the weeks before I went to bed. Coming from such a large, close family in America, I didn't really see the value in finding family outside of blood relations. Yet, my 3 weeks in Bali with my homestay family transformed the way I view family, connectedness, and the weight of relationships. I better understand the importance and wealth that comes from finding family in a group of strangers. It gives this new idea of connectedness and relatedness that can come from anyone or anywhere. This concept was something that was not part of my life before. In my time in Bali, happiness came from being with my bapak and adik laki-laki. It came from spending time with my group. It came from understanding that regardless of difference, I could be loved and love a stranger. As I continue on in my life, I will forever take that notion with me. My aha moment came May 29, 2014, yet I hadn't really fully realized its potential until just now. I wrote in my journal that night, "Time is infinite." Quote, "We are on earth for a finite amount of time, and time is a man-made perception, and we perceive time passing through change, seasons, aging, things like that. So to expand our time on earth, we must incite as much change as possible." Unquote. Time is infinite in this moment, in these 3 weeks. In that moment, I was so transfixed on how everything was so at hand, how everything was so right in our face, the struggles, the problems, happiness, ourselves. It felt so raw and authentic, and that change, that constant awareness of the surroundings, the issues, and even of the facades that we allow ourselves to live in and believe in, they were all there with us, and we had to deal with them. We had to accept them and deal with them. Time was infinite in those 3 weeks because we felt so connected to the issues, so aware of the moment, so aware of each other and cognizant of our effects on each other and our environment, without even noticing time. I had never felt so present, so accepted, wanted, welcomed, loved, needed, powerful, aware, and accepting, except for in that time and space. Bali for me is a symbolic knowledge that I can love strangers and strangers can love me. It's the knowledge that if I'm present, I can think about things other than myself or my insecurities. Bali is a knowledge that I can mess up, embarrass myself, or unknowingly disrespect someone, but still be liked and accepted. Bali is having a home halfway across the world and knowing that I'm always welcomed. Bali is knowing safety in a new way. It's seeing beauty differently. And as I adjust back to life in America, I want to take that knowledge, those feelings, that desire to help, create, and understand, and apply all of that to my day-to-day life. Problems and situations exist, but they are not too big or too far from our hands. We have power, but without understanding, that power can go amiss. Relationships build relatedness. Family is everywhere, and experience broadens time. And as the Balinese cab driver said, perfection is for the gods.